Just hear flesh.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Okie Podcast. On today's episode, I have two amazing guests. They are Marcus and Cedale Enoch. They are the host of Fallen Hour. So what's going on, fellas?
Not much, man.
He's gonna bring this up later that you said my name first.
Oh.
Watch,
Marcus gets that way. I don't get that way.
He always gets so mad about
Cedale,
that.
Enoch, and Marcus.
It's like, why'd they say your name first?
I know.
He
Like,
gets
what are you
so
saying
jealous.
over there, huh? What are you telling people?
That's funny.
Yeah, man.
Oh man. So what's going on? How's your little backstory? So you have a podcast and Fallen Hour. Everybody go check it out. So it's available everywhere. And I came across your episode or your podcast when you had Carrie on. So Carrie was on mine as well. Carrie and Oren from the Skull Crawlers. They're on mine. So we're all cool. And I seen he was on yours, him and his brother, and man, checked out your stuff. And told you before, I'm on, man, from I think it's April 2019.
Wow.
So I'm
yeah.
working my way up to
Dang, it's-
your new episodes.
was-
I can't wait till you hear the new stuff because, yeah.
Yeah, dude.
the
I
bad
listened
ones.
back to this like, man, these are awful. Like, why did anybody listen to this?
Yeah, we got more constructed after those.
Yeah. I try to get a word in, he's screaming at the mic.
The first ones, though, Marcus, like, you can't even tell he's there because
Yeah,
it was mostly video, and Mark would just sit there and nod his head when I'm like talking.
and he just kind of pulled me out and come jump on this podcast and whatever. And I was like, all right, what do I do? I don't know, just sit there. So that's what I did. I was like nodding my head.
He's got his work
Yeah.
clothes on from work
Yeah.
and
Show up all sunburnt.
yeah. Oh, those are bad.
Oh man, yeah, it's a great.
Trust me.
Do what?
You probably like the newer. Yeah, you'll probably like the newer ones a little better. Yeah. So.
Yeah. We should just delete those old ones. No, I'm just kidding.
I know that's what everybody says. They're like, just listen to the new stuff. I'm like, I can't. I'm already invested. I gotta keep going.
I don't know how people stuck around this long, man. It's stupid. It's like the
I
old
know.
ones are horrible. So, but we had a lot of people writing us too, telling us about like, don't put the music in the background, and then I'd hear it back now, like, man, it was bad. You can like barely hear what we're saying sometimes.
Yeah, no. I was like, well, like, it sounds good on my headphones. When I play it in the car, I was like, oh my god, it was awful. It was pretty bad. But...
You got to do the car test. Always have the car test.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, that's dope though. I like you've been around for a while, and obviously it's getting better. I'll have to wait and see. So, but I'm sure it's like dope as fuck still. You know, just you guys are moving along and kept it going, and only way to get better is just keep doing it, man. That's how it was for me too. I did the
Right.
same thing. I'm like, God, like I was so nervous at the beginning and just, oh man, I don't know. I didn't know what I was doing, and I was just so afraid of everybody just thinking I was like just shitting on me, you know, for
Yeah.
and I was just, oh man, it was just bad. And I go back and my guests like carry me like throughout the first like 11, 12 episodes because
Right.
I'm still getting used to just keeping the conversation going and just trying not to have dead air, and just so worried about just the little stuff when all it is just people talking. Like that's all.
Yeah. It's kind of different though when you turn the camera on, you go like think of your next question or like if it's like a really, I guess, high stakes guess or something, you gotta like think of your next question.
That's how like it was like
In the beginning. Yeah.
when we first started, man. I was like worried about what people were gonna think or say, and like Ricky Bobby, I didn't know what to do with my hand. But like now I'm just like, yeah, whatever, put it out.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
somebody hated it. I don't care.
Exactly. I know I kept saying my first few episodes, I kept saying, dang, like I'd say that every like 20 seconds, like Joe Dirt. And I'd have to like go in there and I'd keep some in there, but I'd just I'd take a lot out because I was like, oh God, I don't want to keep saying that. But yeah. So kudos to
Yeah.
everybody out there doing a podcast, man. It's
It's some work, man.
it's
Yeah,
some work.
man. Like I tried to like edit, all the ums and this and that out and everything like that, and he'd remind me we have a video too, and so it'd be like pauses on ums and uhs.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh man, I gotta leave a lot of this stuff in. So I just started cutting out like the the background noises and the like the breathing and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So then after that, I was like, oh, it's starting to sound better, so it's yeah, just kind of working through it, like when we first started out, it was kind of rocky, man. But yeah, it's pretty fun though. I like it. I mean, it's pretty
Marcus cares
interesting.
about all that stuff that I don't really care if
Yeah, he
anybody
doesn't care
coughs
about
or
that
breathes or
stuff.
whatever. Mark's like, don't breathe.
This guy's like eating the mic.
And it's like, just leave it. It's all right. But
Yeah.
But Mark does our so I'll tell you how we started and
Yeah.
kind of how we got to here. But so me and my wife actually started Fallen Hour, I think about 6 years ago now, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's about 6 years ago.
And it was at first it was we did art pieces and she like beads and stuff, so we're like doing all these cool art pieces. I used to like wood burn and make these cool wooden art pieces and sell those.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got involved with some shops around the area that we got our stuff into, and that was Fallen Hour at first. Like Fallen Hour was only just art and that's it. And then I met this guy from New York. His name is Brian Christiana, and he was a CEO of a Fortune 500 company. And he was talking to me. I wrote him, and he wrote back, and he was giving me pointers about how to market myself and what to do next. And I was like, okay, cool. And he said to do video. So ever since then, we kind of transitioned to video, and we're mostly recording like the art pieces and doing giveaways and stuff, and how I was doing the work and everything. And then we stopped from there. And I think it was about a year or so. We had the page was dead. We had like 2,000 followers on there, and then I was like, man, Mark, we gotta figure something out to do with this page. And Mark wasn't even involved with Fallen Hour yet, and so we were sitting there thinking for a long time. And I was like, oh man, we should do a podcast because like we're into the creepy stuff, we're into conspiracies and all the crazy stuff out there, ghost stories. And I actually started my first podcast was Stones and Bones, the Stones and Bones podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And so I do social media marketing. I do TV commercials and things like that. And I had a client, still have this client, and they wanted me to do a podcast for them. It was actually my idea. And I started doing their podcast. And then we went into the Fallen Hour podcast with the Titanic conspiracy theory. And that's the one I was talking about, where I invited Marcus over and he was just sitting there nodding his head and not saying a word to me.
Well, I like didn't do any research and didn't know what the hell was going on. So he's like, oh, just come on and say something. I'm like, okay. A lot of okay.
Yeah, we only had one mic at the time, and then we started doing these podcasts, and I was like, these are kind of cool. I like doing these podcasts. And ever since then we've just been going and going and going.
That came out, and then he was like, well, what do you want to do? What kind of stuff do you like? And I was like, let's do something creepy. I like creepy stuff, ever since growing up and stuff, hearing all these creepy stories around here, and especially growing up on a reservation, it's like, man, there are some creepy stories coming out of there,
Mm-hmm.
and so like just loving all that kind of stuff growing up, and a lot of like Bigfoot stories and stuff like that. And so I was like, well, let's do something creepy, try that out. And then we did it. And it got a pretty big response, like people were writing like, dude, that scared the hell out of me, or oh my god, it gave me nightmares, or I was like, awesome, give them more nightmares. So we like kind of came out like, all right, let's kind of stick with this, we'll keep with the creepy vibe, and oh shoot, here we are.
Yeah, I think what really I guess grounded the work and grounded us investigating like paranormal stuff was we did this one podcast and it was about this man conspiracy theory.
Oh yeah.
And they call this, it's like a, oh, I don't know, that's his name though. It's This Man.
Yeah.
And we were reading into this, and I guess it was this picture going around on the internet.
Mhm.
And people who see this picture always say they recognize him or they have dreams about him. And once you see the picture, you're most likely going to have a dream about this dude. And what he would do is come into your dream and give you advice, or sometimes your dreams get really
Dark.
But and when he shows up, he's like saving you from your nightmare or something.
But the way he saves you from your nightmare makes the nightmare even
Right.
worse. It's freaking disgusting.
Like he'll kill you or something,
Yeah.
or just some weird stuff.
There's
And
like some creepy stories coming from this, like just this subject, this guy. And yeah, like I remember I was scrolling through Facebook, and I remember I scrolled up and I saw like 3 pictures of him, and this was like 3:30 in the morning. I couldn't sleep. Right when I saw his face, I just got the chills, like he just looked like a nightmare. I flipped my phone, like really quick, like, oh my god, that creeped me the hell out. And the next day I kind of tried to remember who posted that, because I didn't want to look at it again. I'm not gonna lie, I was creeped out. So I came back and I looked at it again, and I told him about it, and we started looking into it. And what we found out was we actually talked to somebody who had like kind of like an encounter with this person.
Mhm.
But it predated any stories by like 25 years, wasn't it?
right, yeah.
Yeah, like they're saying like, oh yeah, this was just like a marketing ploy, and this guy was just trying to like put this out and see how far it would get. But then all these people were like saying they've seen this person. And so yeah, when I was thinking that too, I was like, well, yeah, that's probably what it was, until we got a message from somebody telling us about she saw this person when she was awake, standing on her deck, wasn't it?
Yeah, something like that.
Standing
Something
on her
creepy.
deck of this new house she moved into, and when she looked again, he was gone. And then when she went to sleep, she started having nightmares of this person. And yeah, she didn't tell anybody for like 25 years until she told us. And that's when, like, man, that really gave me the chills. So I was like, yeah, after we started doing that, the This Man conspiracy, and all these people started kind of just writing us and telling us all these stories and stuff, and it kind of got a pretty good response. So we just kind of kept with the creepy stuff.
Yeah, people are writing in too, saying they were having nightmares of this guy after watching our podcast.
Yeah, we kind of made it worse, I guess.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, they're like, yeah, started having nightmares about it and all this and that. So he's like, well, let's do another one.
Yeah, I think we did like a little series on it, something like
we
that.
did, yeah, talking about.
I don't know if I actually put that out on Fallen Hour podcast, on the podcast, but it's on Facebook, and it might be on Fall. I don't know.
I don't know.
It was a long time ago.
Yeah, it was. I think it was when he had a different page. Is when you did that one, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So we got to put it on the Fallen Hour page if it's not on there. But,
Yeah. But after experiencing that, that's what like really grounded us into doing more paranormal type stuff, and nothing yet has had that response, or people writing in saying they're having nightmares and things like that. But we have been interviewing people for our Halloween season, and every single time they write us the next day saying they're having nightmares. It's like, that's kind of weird. It's like a weird little side effect, I guess, just talking about some creepy stuff.
Yeah.
We got to put a warning.
For real. Warning, everybody, before you listen to any more. Yeah, I guess the brain just kind of picks up on that stuff. And it's like, maybe because I usually, like, when I dream of something, like, just I think it was last night or the other night, I saw some friends of mine, they had a picture, somebody posted a picture from a long time ago, and I was checking it out and I liked it on Facebook, and I went to sleep. And then, like, that night I had a dream, like we were all together and we're all taking a picture in some like club or something. And I woke up and I was like, what the hell was that? And then, throughout the day you start remembering, like, oh yeah, because you're thinking about it, it's like, why did I dream of that? But it's like, oh yeah, before I went to sleep, I saw that picture, and I guess I thought about it, like, those were good times. So,
Right.
so I guess, like, yeah, like hearing these stories, though, you're bound to think about it. And, I don't want to think about this guy, this
I was
man.
I was literally-
that sounds
I was-
scary. dude.
I was about to send you a picture of him too. I was like, oh, maybe I should send him a picture.
He's
so
in
you
the
can
dark.
see
You
it,
shouldn't
but
do that.
Sitting in the dark.
I'm gonna look at it tomorrow.
Yeah, I was thinking, I was like, well, it kind of like probably sits in your subconscious, and then when you
Mhm.
fall asleep, you know, your mind goes, and then that's probably where it comes from. Or thinking about it before you're falling asleep, like, man, I hope I don't have a dream about this guy, and then bam, you have a dream about this guy. You know,
I tried so hard not to, and I think I got through it not having a dream. But my wife had a dream, and
mine
she
too.
told me it was the most vivid and the most gruesome dream she's ever had. After us doing that series of that podcast, I was like, "Oh my gosh,
we were about
man,
to
that's
talk
crazy."
about it, and yeah, I think we did the first episode, and we're about to do a second one because people were asking us to do another one on it. And then my wife told me she had a nightmare that he was trying to kill her, and he was pissed off, literally pissed off
Oh,
that
right.
we were kind of like exposing him in a way, you know. So like she was like, she had a nightmare that he was trying to kill her and kill us because of that, you know. So I was like, holy crap, that's
That's scary. Yeah,
I was like, that is kind of creepy.
if he was real, that's scary. If he is real, I don't
But
know.
there's some dude like in India, he looks like him too, and he was claiming that it was him.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. So it's, yeah, I don't know, man.
It's all on the podcast.
it's all on
God.
there. I'll send you some pictures.
Yeah, send me some stuff. I kind of got chills, man. Just kind of thinking about that. Oh man, yeah, it's like 11 o'clock here. I'm in the dark. You know, real spooky. Where are you guys based out of?
We're in Montana.
Are you okay?
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
around the Billings area.
Awesome. And then you said your October month is, do you, so this must be like your favorite month, correct? You know,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
assuming.
It's
Yeah.
usually our biggest month. Yeah.
Yeah, it's usually we usually get most of our listeners. Well, like we have a big fluctuation in our listeners around October.
Yeah.
October through December is like where we get our most of our like big demographics and
Yeah,
people.
we started kind of talked about, and I was getting tongue tied. We talked about doing something for Halloween, and we recorded, you know, I don't know how many episodes for Halloween, and we didn't even put the first one out yet. And we got a message from Apple.
Oh,
Said
right.
we're charting, you know, charting in philosophy, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we got another one, and it was like, geez, we didn't even put out the Halloween season yet, but usually like around Halloween, our listens start going up for some reason.
Right. Yeah.
So I was like, oh, maybe they're just kind of getting ready for it or something. I don't know, or expecting something, because we always try to do something big for Halloween, you know, and try to top what we did last time, except for with the whole, when COVID hit, we didn't even do
Yeah. I don't think we
anything,
did
did
let
we?
anything last year.
I think we just did one on like horror icons, and it was, I think it was like the whole story, what inspired Jason and Friday the 13th and stuff like that, like the true story behind that. And so yeah, I think that was what we did last year, wasn't it?
Yeah. This is actually our first year where we're interviewing other paranormal podcasts or paranormal investigators, things like that. I think that 2 years ago we did that was a cool one. We did there's a haunted site in the Billings area. It's called the Moss Mansion. It's one of the, I don't know if it's the oldest mansion in Billings, but
It's like the most famous.
yeah, it's the most
place.
famous, and it's, I guess it's world renowned. People know about it from everywhere. And I was like, I didn't know that, but that is just like a locally known haunted place. But
Yeah, like even I have friends, you know, on Instagram and Facebook that are from like, you know, all over the place, and they even share stories on it or do episodes on it, you know, stuff like that. So
but we were able to get that mansion, and they just let us use it for the night. And I was like, they have these tour guides and people that are like securing the place, and they're always there. And for that night, for the podcast, they just left us alone. Everyone left the building and just let us have the whole place to ourselves.
yeah, they just kind of gave us the keys,
I was
and
like,
it was
whoa,
like,
it's-
man, it got creepy in there.
yeah, it did get creepy.
We were like kind of going around at first, you know, we kind of got our stuff set up, and then we just started looking around, you know, checking out all the rooms and everything. And they had this place already decked out for Halloween. Like I remember walking upstairs by myself, and they had this little girl doll that looked so damn real standing in the middle of the room.
It was dark.
Man,
yeah.
my heart dropped. Oh my God. It scared the hell out of me.
Oh my god.
I was like, all right, got to get ready for jump scares when I'm walking around in this place. I wasn't expecting that, man. It scared the heck out of me. But we tried to put together something, really cool. We're gonna do actually a podcast there, like actually do an episode there. And we were gonna tell ghost stories and stuff. And then we had some friends that were paranormal investigators, and they were gonna come up and do, an investigation there, but they couldn't make it. So we just did the ghost stories there and stuff. And even while we were filming, in the middle of the podcast, you'll see us stop, but something walks from one room to the other, like right in the
yeah.
room that we were in.
Whoa.
And I think he saw it and his wife saw
Yeah,
it.
same time.
I remember you could see him turn and look, and he turns at his wife, and his wife's eyes were like that big. The man, is just like the vibe in there got so creepy. And we even had the curators and stuff tell some stories and stuff of things that happened there and everything, and it was pretty cool. Yeah, so it was a pretty cool.
It's kind of a funny place
start.
too, because they only hire on Halloween.
Yeah,
Like that's when you start there every year. So if they have new hires coming on, they don't hire in December, they don't hire in January, they always hire on Halloween night. And that's your night. You start. So
it's weird, man.
We went there and we're like, so how long have you worked here? And they'll say like 3 Halloweens, 4 Halloweens. And I'm like, tell me more about why you're saying Halloween so often. And they're like, no, we start our work Halloween night. And I was like, wow, that's freaking weird. But yeah, that place has a weird
sounds
kind
like
of
a
vibe
ritual to me.
It's kind of different though, because like we walked into there, and I think we spent 3 days there shooting like our intros and interviewing the housekeepers and things like that. And then the third night was our podcast. But those first 2 days with the housekeepers and things like that, the curators,
yeah,
it was a different feel because there's people in the building. But once they left us there to do the podcast by ourselves, the whole mood changed in that place. And I'm not really someone to get scared of things like that either, but I had to go downstairs and get a piece of equipment, and I could not make it through that basement. It was scary as hell in that place.
like I was all right, like try not to let it get to me. But what bothered me was right behind us was just a curtain in a big room behind us, and that's where they saw that person walk to, was that room that. And the door was right behind us. There's another door with a curtain, and all I was just thinking about was something coming through that curtain. But it was pretty fun, man. It was pretty cool. Like you'll hear some cool stories on that one. I think most of them were Aaron Martin. Aaron Martin kind of took the reins on that one and told a lot of really cool stories.
Yeah.
Oh man, I hate basements. We got so our old I live in Oklahoma, and I'm from Pawnee, small old town, and we had the old IHS building, and I guess it used to be a morgue, is what I have been told. Wow. And they turned it into an IHS building. For anybody that don't know what IHS is, it's Indian Health Services. And somebody's messaging me. They always do that whenever I get on. Nobody messaged me all day.
Oh, I sent you something on your Instagram too, so
nope, not gonna look at it.
Take a look at that. Just take a look. Come on, dude. Just glance at it, man. Trust me.
All right. I'm gonna look at it. Everybody. Now,
is that this man picture?
Yeah, I was gonna show him that guy's face. I don't know.
Just so we're not alone. We're not alone with this feeling over here.
Yeah. Let's see if everybody can look at that.
Oh, there you go.
There's another one that's like even creepier than that. It's just, oh man, that's the one that got me. I didn't send that one because I didn't want to see it right now. So.
Oh god, that one's pretty creepy. Like I'll be honest. Yeah, I'll probably have a dream about him.
It was I think there was stories from Paris, and they're posting flyers around Paris asking the public, have you seen this person?
Yeah,
because everyone in Paris at that time was having dreams about this guy.
And an investigator went to India and found the person that claimed to be him, and he was claiming to be like a kind of like a dream walker, and he even basically went into this person's dreams that was I think he was a really famous person down there, and he knew stuff about this guy that nobody knew, only he would know. And he was basically telling all these facts to him about that guy as proof that he was this man. And that's yeah, it's kind of creepy, man. It is, the whole thing's kind of creepy.
But now you know. Now you've seen him.
Dreamwalker. That's crazy, man. What the fuck? Yeah, I'll let you know if I dream about him. But I mean, I've never seen that. I think I heard that story on You guys ever listen to Two Girls, One Ghost?
Yes.
don't
Yeah.
think
I
I
think
have
they were
listened to
talking
them.
about him, but it was more of like it was like you guys are talking about, kind of like he saves you from nightmares, right? And then the one they were talking about, I don't know if it's the same one or what, but they were talking about it's like is a nightmare. Like, so there might be like two versions of
Right.
this
Yeah.
man, you know. So, but I was listening to that, and then when they were talking about it though, like weird stuff started happening in their apartment. I don't know if you guys heard that episode, but
Ugh.
yeah, there was like stuff being like moved around in their back part or back of their apartment or wherever they record at that time. Because
Oh,
I'm
weird.
yeah, and I was like listening to it, and I was like, oh god. Oh, did you hear something?
Yeah, I did.
Did you?
actually.
Oh
Yeah, I
shit.
did. I thought I heard something move over there, but and his cat's sleeping. So
Yeah. It's always when we do the podcast, though. It's like, so this place that I live in has some really dark history
really
behind it.
dark history.
And
For
Mark
real?
was actually, he
Yeah.
was actually witness to it.
Yeah.
But long story short, this guy, I don't know, the guy that used to live in this place, he would put Bible scriptures on the ceiling.
He had stuff kind of stashed around in here. He wrote, you know, a lot of weird things and letters, and some were scripture, I believe. And he had them stuffed all over the place. But he kind of went off the deep end. You know, he was a friend of mine. I used to live upstairs. This is a duplex, and I used to live upstairs, and he used to live downstairs. And he just kind of, I don't know, he just kind of lost it, you know. And he had actually ended up committing suicide here, and it was in a really traumatic, horrible way, you know. It was, man, that was one crazy night. There was a standoff with the police and everything. And anyway, he ended up committing suicide here. And a week after that happened, um, a lot of stuff started happening upstairs. And like, I remember I was watching TV once, and you know, in the hallway going toward the door, there's no windows, so it's dark. So there's the hallway that goes toward the front door, and before you get there, there's a, you know, my room on the right, and there's a walkway to the left, and there's the bathroom in my girl's room. Me and my daughter were watching TV. You know, she was playing, and I was watching TV. And that doorway, it's a really big walkway, and I was sitting there watching TV, and I just saw somebody walk from my bedroom toward the hallway, and the only light that was coming in was from my bedroom window. So it was just lit up enough for me to watch this guy walk, and I could see the clothes he was wearing and everything. It was like, just like, almost looked like he was wearing like a mechanic's jumpsuit. And he walked, you know, from my bedroom to the back, and I didn't hear a noise, man. I got the chills. And I glanced down, and my daughter was peeking around the corner like she just saw something walk by, and she started walking toward me scared. And so I picked her up. I was like, no, you know, everything's fine. You know, everything's okay. You know, just here, sit down on the couch and watch cartoons. And I went to take a look. I mean, I knew nobody was in the house because there was only one doorway, you know, one way in, one way out. And I was on the second floor, so nobody's going to come through the windows. And I walked to my girl's room, and I opened the door, and there's nobody in there. And when I went to close their door again, the bathroom doorknob started shaking and jiggling pretty violently, actually. And it was one of those kind of loose fitting, you know, doorknobs where just kind of, it was shaking pretty easy.
Mhm.
And I stood there, I stood there watching this thing shake for about 20 seconds, you know, just debating on opening this bathroom door. And I don't know about you, but when I use, like, if I go use the restroom or something, I always got to open up that freaking bathroom curtain.
Yeah. Yeah.
You gotta check for ninjas, you know. So I opened up this bathroom door and I turned the light on, and the bathroom curtain was already open, and there was nobody in the house but me and my daughter. And my other one was sleeping. She's just a baby. So man, right away I just kind of called up my dad, like, hey, I'm gonna come over for a bit. I'm gonna come over for a bit and hang out. And I just got my girls ready, and man, I was waiting outside. I only had one car at the time, and my wife was at work, so I went and waited outside. And he came and picked me up. And when I got over to my parents' house, my grandmother was there, and she was like an evangelist. She pastored a couple of churches, started a couple of churches. And I told her what happened, and so she came back over to my place with me, and she prayed over the whole house and everything and building. And after that, man, it stopped for a long time until I moved downstairs.
Right.
And it got worse.
Whoa.
But it's always when we do the podcast, it's nothing really ever happens in the daytime here. And every time we sit down to do the podcast, something always happens, whether that's us hearing a voice on our headphones. And we always stop mid podcast when it happens, because we want to mark it and make sure that we have the time on that.
Timestamp it.
And we were recording one time, and it was summertime, and Marcus was sitting next to me like he is now on the right side. And we used to do it in the kitchen. So we're in the living room now. We were in the kitchen, and in his microphone, we're both talking. I forget what we're talking about, but we both hear someone say, "I'm here."
I'm in here.
Or I'm in here. Yeah. And then we both look at each other, and I was like, "Did you hear that?" He's like, and makes us make sure we make sure we have the time on that. And we're like, okay, so we just continued the podcast like normal. And then it wasn't until after we were done, we immediately stopped, got that freaking file, went back and got the time on it. And our tracks are separated. So there's Mark's track, there's my track. And on that audio, it was only picked up on his microphone where it says I'm in here. And you couldn't hear it on my microphone.
We were trying to debunk it. He was sitting, maybe a little further away than he is now from me. And right behind him was an air conditioner in the window. We had a window air conditioner. And I was like, man, it's probably just somebody outside, outside the window. So we saw it was only on one track. You can see the waves. And I was like, oh, I think it's on yours. I was like, that's yours. It was probably outside. And we listened to his, and it wasn't on his. His was completely quiet. I turned it up and everything. And we isolated his, and it was complete silence. And my microphone was toward the living room, where there was no TVs on, nothing on, nobody in the house but us two. And upstairs, there was nobody up there. My brother lives upstairs, and he was at work. So there was nobody in this big old brick building but us two. And we heard the voice coming from the living room. And man, that just creeped me the hell out, man. But yeah, it always seems like every time we try to talk about something, creepy or scary, or we like try to get in like demonology or something like that, because we get into that a lot. And every time we get into that kind of subject stuff, it seems like stuff starts stirring up in this place. And we were talking about shadow people, actually.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so we did a shadow people episode. And then we were going to do another one with one of our co-hosts. He kind of started joining us, and his name's we call him Wheezy, but his name's Aaron Baker. He came over, and he was trying to get our computers going, and for some reason he was doing everything right, but for some reason nothing was working, and our batteries were draining and everything. Camera batteries were draining, and we had our computers plugged in, so those kept the same battery level, but he couldn't do something on his computer. So he got mine, and I had a brand new laptop I just bought. And so I said, well, here, use mine, try it on that. And the same problems were happening.
And then mine.
And then his, and nothing was working. And I went to get up out of the chair. And right when I rounded the corner, a shot glass came flipping out of the dish strainer and landed on top of his phone. And I glanced around the corner, and the look on Wheezy's face, man, his eyes were so big. He was like so creeped out. And I was like, he just asked me, did you see that? And I was like, yeah, I just heard it, right when I came around the corner, I saw it, kind of.
And I heard it at the bathroom. It's like, what
yeah,
you guys
he heard
doing,
it in the bathroom too. and we kind of were looking around, and he had that shot glass sitting in one of those little slots, you know, you have on your dish strainer for cups.
Mhm.
He had his shot glass on that, so it had to pop up and come out on the outside of it, flip around, and then land on his phone that was like about a foot away.
Yeah.
And there was nobody near that dish drainer or in the kitchen but Aaron, and Aaron was on the other side of the room. And yeah, we had that happen, and then all the audio started malfunctioning, and we couldn't hear ourselves or hear our voices. and, and out of nowhere we hear this really deep voice on the headphones, and I remember looking at Aaron. He threw his headphones off, and I did the same thing, man. I threw my headphones off. I looked over, all the hair on my arms and his arms were standing up. We're just sitting there like, what the hell was that? You know, and we looked on the computer, and it was recording. So I was like, well, we gotta rewind this and listen back to it, you know. And man, everything was just going crazy.
You got to tell him what happened recently with that episode or that little clip.
Oh my god!
Because we
I don't even want to.
when that happened, there was that malfunction was their voices, but it was in a deep tone.
They sound like the devil, man.
Right? It was like the devil freaking voice, and I recorded that and I put it out I clipped that and put it on as an episode for like a bonus on Facebook. And
yeah, you could see us kind of reviewing it and listening to it. And yeah, Aaron, he didn't even want to record anymore. He was like, dude, I want to go home, you know. He was freaking creeped the hell out. But we after we kind of calmed down, let's just record, you know. We recorded that episode. But yeah, you can find that video on there where we're kind of reviewing it and everything. And yeah, it was our voices, but it was delayed by like maybe about a minute, and it was like really, really, really deep, and it sounded freaking creepy. But anyway, just recently he was just talking about, or what he was just talking about was I was editing our newest episode that we just put out, and it was Ghost Stories with After Horizons. And probably one of the creepiest stories I've ever heard is on that episode. And it's Aaron Martin tells a story about seeing something crawling into his room. And he was just laying in his bed, and he saw his door open, and then something crawl around the door jam and crawl on the wall in his room. And he was telling that story. And I was listening to it on my headphones, and I was editing this podcast, and it was around 1:30 in the morning, and I was the only one awake, and I was in my bedroom, doors closed, and I was editing this story. And I have a brand new computer, and this thing just starts just weirding out on me. It starts glitching out all around the screen, and then these windows kind of popped up, and then I just hear this deep voice on my headphones again, and I took my headphones off, and I was like, what the hell was that? And I kind of put my ear to it, and for some reason and somehow my computer went through my files, it found that video, and started playing that video by itself of the story I just told you, where we heard that deep voice on the headphones.
Mhm.
It started playing that on my computer, and I took it off. I was like, what the hell is going on? And I recorded on my phone. I pulled my phone up and I started recording, you know, gonna show this guy, you know, what the hell is going on. And I'm kind of, all you can hear is my finger on the touchpad swiping back and forth. And you can hear something in the background in my bedroom. And I was telling him, man, for some reason, I was when I was trying to get my computer to work, this thought came in my head. For some reason, this thought popped in my head, and this audio is actually in our intro, and it was an EVP that was caught, where this like spirit or demon or something says, I have the body of a pig, and it makes like a pig noise. And there was actually a picture caught too,
Yeah.
and it almost looks like a pig shaped entity. And I, for some reason, that EVP popped in my head. I was like, man, why am I thinking of that right now? You know, like maybe I was thinking about creepy stuff because I was getting creeped out. I was thinking maybe I'm just creeping myself out, you know.
Find it.
And I was recording, and for some reason that popped in my head. I was like, why the hell was I thinking about that? And I stopped recording, and I reversed it, you know, went to play it back, and I listened to it, and on my phone it sounds like something making grunts like a pig, and there was nobody awake in my house. No TV's on in my room, nothing. And I was hearing noises like that in my bedroom, and I caught it on my phone. And man, that after that, I just closed my laptop, put it away. I was like, I'm not doing this tonight, man. And kind of just went through my house, made sure nothing was going on. And, I was like, man, I better start praying over my place. I was like, start praying over my house, like, all right, if something's going on, got to get rid of it. And then I just kind of, right when I felt calm, I was like, all right, well, I'm going to go to bed now. So I went to bed and I showed him the next morning, and oh man, it was ugly.
I'll play it for you. Want to hear it?
Oh, this is the audio that I was thinking about. This was, what, didn't Zach Baggins catch this one?
No, this is I don't know. I think this is just a standalone paranormal investigating group.
Oh yeah, that's right.
All right, here we go. Did you hear that?
Play it again.
You hear that?
It gets loud and then it like kind of fades out.
Does it?
You're gonna have to send it to him sometime.
Yeah, I'll have to send it to you.
Send it to me. But I can hear like the first part where it's a deep ass voice, and it sounds.
And that's, I always think of that. I always think about that EVP a lot when I'm like alone or
creeping
in the shower or something.
I showed him. I was like, listen to this. I was like, what does this sound like to you? I put the headphone or my phone up to his ear, and I saw his hair start standing up on his. He was like, "Oh my god!" I was like, "Dude, that was in my house."
I just moved
into my house.
I just moved into a house that's it's an older house.
It's got to be well over 100 years old.
It is creepy. It was like kind of creepy when I was kind of thinking about that. I was like, man, I have a basement. I've been in there one time. I went downstairs to check it out, and I found a doorway down there that I didn't know what it went to. I was like, I am not opening up this door. It was like a hidden door. Whoa. And it's probably about 4 foot high, and it's an old wooden door, like a really old wooden door. And I couldn't even barely open it. I was like, what the hell is this? I kind of turned around when I found it, me and my daughter. I was like, you want to see what's behind this door? And I just heard her steps running up the stairs. She was like, no, I'm not looking in there. So I just left it closed. It's like, maybe I'll look in there someday, And so I just, always keep my basement locked, never really go down there.
I sent it to you. You can send it to him.
Okay. But yeah, so like thinking about that, I was like, man, I'm in a new house, that's really old, and hearing stuff like that, man, it's just creeped me out, dude. But yeah, I'll send that audio to you. But.
Man, you should go down there with the cameras and all that.
Yeah, I just got a package today. We ordered a lot of paranormal investigating equipment, and it just got here today. So we have SB11, we got a shadow reader, we got all that crap. So
yeah,
damn,
got here this morning. So we plan on doing investigating, and but yeah,
that's what I'm getting. I'm trying to help my friends with that. I just had them on last weekend. They're called Native. Well, I guess they're changing the name, I guess. So I guess I'll announce it. Spooky Native-ish. So
that.
And but yeah, they're trying to get started, and I'm trying to tell them like let's like I'll help. I got a camera, I got a GoPro, I got a camcorder. I got like video equipment, and I got some mics, and I probably got to they got recorders, and they got an old school recorder because they took a paranormal class.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know they were interested in stuff like that. So I had them on last weekend, and same thing, bro. Like, so this month was like I just dubbed it the unofficial season 2 of Okie podcast, where I started introducing video.
Yeah.
And bro, like I had my camera set up, and we started talking, and like 30 minutes in, it cut off.
Mm-hmm.
And it cut off by itself. And so I just thought, it's the battery. I probably didn't charge it popped another one in and turned it on, and fuck, man, same thing. It was like, but this time it was like 20 minutes and it beeped like
Whoa.
somebody pushed it, like turned it off. And we were talking about ghosts and aliens and conspiracies and just crazy shit, right? Like stuff I'd never talk about. I like it, I like talking about stuff like that, but it just never gets brought up, And so
Yeah.
we're talking about it, and my camera gets shut off again, and I'm like, what the fuck, man? Like, this never. I use this thing all the time or whatever, and it never like just shuts off.
Right.
And so it was me, Charlotte, Angela, and Jesse. And Jesse just kind of came like spur of the moment because this other person couldn't come on. So we called him, and he was like, yeah, come on. And I guess he's dabbled in Ouija boards and spirit calling and all this other stuff. And anyways, we took a little break so I can fix the camera. And I was like, you know what? I'm whatever's here, just don't want to be on, so I'll just leave it off. And they had dowsing rods. You know what those
Right.
are?
Yeah.
They
Yep.
had those, they brought those, and they started messing with those. And they're like, is there a spirit here? And cross for yes, part for no. It fucking crossed for yes. And they
Oh,
said,
wow.
I said, are you a bad spirit? And it crossed, or they said, are you a good spirit? And it crossed for yes for that. And then they said, are you following? Because Jesse said, well, it might be something following me as a joke. And Angela asked, are you following Jesse, and will you follow him home? And it fucking crossed for yes.
Oh, wow.
Oh man.
So we kind of got quiet, and then finally she just said, like out of nowhere, it's just Jesse's mom, and it crossed for yes.
Wow.
And so we were asking him, I was like, because before that though, I said, yo, whatever's in here, get the fuck out of here. Like I was like cursing it out, like, because that's what I was told. Like, don't give it energy if it's bad, but
Right.
I just, like get out of here or whatever. And I was like, get the fuck out of here, and then when it said like Jesse's mom, man, it kind of like, made me feel like not weird or scared. It's just like, oh, like, she's here watching him, like that's cool. He has somebody watching over him. And so when I was asking him, I was like, does she not like, photographs or video or anything? And he said, I don't know. He goes, I don't know. He said, I guess not. And so I was like, you know what? I won't even record. I said, and I was like, well, I was like, I'm sorry. Like, I'm sorry for cursing you out. Like, I'm a good guy. Jesse knows me. I'm a good guy. I just, I don't play this stuff though. But, if you're following him and making sure he's okay, like, that's cool. That's, hang out with us, and it was fine after that. Like, everything went smoothly. And I mean, I guess she followed him home, and, everything's
Wow.
been cool. So that was
crazy,
pretty intense. Like, that's what happened last weekend. But
Wow.
yeah, but they're trying to get into paranormal stuff, and we went ghost hunting last weekend in Okmulgee. They have a building called I'm gonna butcher the name. It's McCullough building, I think. And it's like the tribe still works in there downstairs, but upstairs there's it's like a old Freemason club.
Oh, nice.
So there's like I guess it kind of caught on fire in one room, and I don't think anybody died. I don't think, but strange enough, there's a noose hanging in the
Whoa.
like on the staircase going up to the main or the top of the, like in the attic, I guess. There's a noose there. Nobody really knows like where that came from. And so we're in there, and when we got in there, it was, you could feel something, when you have that feeling, and
Yeah.
but then like I guess maybe there's too many of us, and it wasn't really being taken serious, I think, and it just kept kind of running away. So I checked my footage, and I didn't really catch anything, but they had their recorders, and wait on them to go through them, see if, because I left it on the staircase near the what I say, the rope.
The noose. Right?
Yeah, the noose. I left it like right there while we went to another room for like 30 minutes. So I'm waiting on that one to see if there's like whispers or anything talking, or so. Yeah, that's my ghost hunting adventure.
Yeah, we like, man, we've talked about doing that for a long time. Like growing up, I would always watch, shows like
Taps.
yeah, taps, stuff like that, ghost hunters or scariest places on earth, I was like, man, I want to do that, I want to try that out, do something like that. So like we've always planned on it, doing something like that, but we just never gotten around to really doing much. And yeah, we started doing this podcast. And what was funny is right when we did a couple creepy episodes, we were talking about doing that, and we already started getting invited to like places to go investigate, investigate this place, you should come over to my place and investigate. And like even like Canada and Chicago
Yeah.
and a couple other places. I was like,
Whoa.
man, we didn't even start doing that yet. I was like,
Yeah, there are
like,
people
whoa,
trying
hold
to like
on.
fly us out to places and
Yeah, I
stuff
was
too.
like,
Like we
yo,
don't have nothing,
fly
we
you out
can't.
here. I was like, well, we got to get something first, and yeah, so I had a friend reach out, and she does, paranormal investigating. And she was like, oh yeah, come, like we'll kind of show you how we do it and everything. And so we kind of shadowed them, one night. And man, that night was just crazy. That was like a really eventful night. But we went to a couple places that they went to, and we had a lot of crazy stuff happen. And she didn't want to put that stuff out. She's like, well, I'm not, gonna put this stuff out. And she let me take the audios to listen to and stuff and see what I can find. But I just told her, yeah, I won't put them out. That's her stuff. If she ever decides to put it out. But we put out one thing that I caught on my phone that night. And it was we were actually kind of walking through a graveyard. And they're like kind of snapping pictures. It's like, oh yeah, they kind of stood by them, and I kind of started snapping pictures on my phone. And I was talking to, I think, Wheezy, and I snapped like 10 pictures, I think. And I was flipping through them, and they were all, nothing, just headstones. And then one picture in between, there was something standing in between two headstones.
I sent it to you.
There was a headstone in front of me, or in front of it, and I think a headstone behind it, but you could see it standing there. And it almost looked like it's wearing a cloak or something. The whole thing looks like it's draped. And I was like, oh my God, what the hell is this? I kind of leaned over and I showed them. And the second I showed them, man, everybody's cameras just flash, flash, flash. They're like trying to catch something. But that entire night, that was the only thing that we caught, was just that one picture. And I was just hitting burst, just keep hitting the button, bam, 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 bam. And I just caught that one picture. I'll send it to you. But yeah, it was weird, man. And we started hearing all this crazy stuff, and their equipment was just going haywire. We started getting this ugly feeling, man, this really creepy vibe. And we started hearing noises.
That spirit box said my name.
Yeah, the spirit box
Like
said,
right off the bat.
said his name. Yeah, he said, do you know who I am? And his real name isn't Cedal. That's a nickname my grandpa calls him. And everybody started calling him ever since. They just call him Cedal. And on the spirit box, it said Cedal. And that just kind of kicked off the whole night, man. Like ever since then, everything started going off,
Yeah.
And they had their lights going on, like this one on for yes, this one on for no, and they were just going, everything was going crazy. Like they're like, sometimes you get nothing, and sometimes you get maybe one or two things. But that night, man, there was just everything, everything was going off like crazy. And they had what was that device that they use that reads those meters, and it'll beep.
It's like an EMF reader.
I think an EMF reader.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, we put it to your phone or this or that, it won't beep, but if anything comes near it, it'll start beeping. Like if there's supposedly, if a spirit comes near it, it'll start beeping. And this thing was dead silent all night. And we get in the car to leave because we hear it sound like almost like it sounded like a hand drum, didn't it?
Yeah.
Really loud hand drum. And we were going to go over to this area that something really traumatic happened. and we're like, oh, well, maybe let's go check over here. Maybe something we'll catch something. Because of the, something traumatic happens. Things are drawn to that. So we're gonna go to that area, and we just hear this loud bang. It sounded like a hand drum, and we just stopped and like, yep, all right, no, doesn't want us over there. We better get the hell out of here. So we went to go get in the car, and right when we were getting in the car, that EMF reader just starts going bananas.
Right. Then that weird van pulled up.
Yeah, and then this weird van with a bunch of people jumping out, and it's like 3:30 in the morning.
What?
And yeah, they look like a cult. Didn't
Yeah,
they?
it was weird.
Yeah, they got on. They're just looking at us like this weird.
Oh man,
smiles on their face.
we got the most disgusting feeling when they pulled up, and because like nobody's up there at all at that time, and yeah, this big old, it's like almost like one of those tour kind of vans. It's like a big white one, and it pulled up, and you get to see a bunch of people in that van. And they started all hopping out and stuff, and
they all had like this creepy smile, and they're just staring at us, not saying one word, just staring at us with this smile. And it's a whole van load of them. There's like 15 of them, and we're just kind of staring. I'm like, all right, let's get the hell out of here, and they're just they're staring at us with this weird smile.
Holy shit.
And it was like this ugly grin, huh? They all had the same ugly grin. They're just cheesed out looking at us. And like 3:30 in the morning, pitch black, and all we see is these smiles.
We were outnumbered by far. We all took off to the car.
I was like, all right, let's get the hell out of here, and we would go to get in the car, and she left her EMF reader on, and that thing starts just going haywire, going up and down, going crazy. And it scared the person holding it, so she tossed it to her friend, and she tossed it back. Everybody's like, oh my god, hot potato with this thing. And I just said, turn it off. We turned it off, and we're like trying to find our way out of there. We got out of there, and it's like, oh my god, man, that was like one of the creepiest things. And then we went to a couple places, and we caught a lot of really crazy stuff on the spirit box and all that. But oh my god, dude, that was like I think our first real kind of investigation, that we did with some friends. But I mean, he caught some stuff before, but that was like the first time we actually went out with all this equipment and stuff to kind of see how it works and everything, and got to test it out and try it out. So it was actually it was a pretty crazy night, man. But yeah, I'll send that picture to you here in a second.
How fucking crazy. God damn, like fucking, you think it was a ghost bus, or you think those are real people, or
I don't, it's probably real people, but it's like it was a weird, because we live in a really small town, like a real small town, like everybody knows everybody, you see the same people every day, and this big old bus rolls up and we don't know none of them. Not one person in that bus.
I'll send you two pictures. The first one is the one like a second before, and the other one was a half a second after, and it's the one that has this thing in it. But you can look at them both, and if you zoom in and look at it, you can see that thing standing there on the second picture.
okay,
it's like circled.
Yeah.
What do you think of that?
What the fuck?
It's almost like a Scooby-Doo Phantom, isn't it?
That's what I said.
Yeah, it is. Whoa.
Yeah, Aaron told me that. He's like, it looks like a Scooby-Doo fan. I was like, oh my god, that's exactly what it looks like. It looks like somebody wearing a bed sheet.
Yeah. What the fuck?
And so I showed a friend, and he said it looked like one of those old like capes or cloaks that somebody would wear. That was like in the Civil War or something. I was like,
right,
oh my god, yeah. I was like, that kind of does look like that. But yes.
So are you guys gonna like record? Are they gonna record any of that stuff, those investigations, and put them out, or?
Yeah, we're gonna. Well, I told him, like, I'll help out however I can, and let's get this going. Let's do it, because I'm all about helping whoever out. If you want to start something, man, like, I'm down. So we did that, and it was kind of I had somebody else coming in, but things got fucked up, so we couldn't do it. And I called them like an hour before, and I was like, yo, are you down to do this? Like, it's in Okmulgee. And then they thought about it, and they're like, I was like, it's content, maybe, I don't know. I know when you go out, you might get something, you might not, I don't know.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, let's do it. Yeah, let's. I'm down. So we all went over there, and I don't know. I had to check those recorders, but we're trying to set up something else with this girl. She has a house in Bigsby, and she was saying she has a lot of activity going on in her house, and so I said, I guess spooky native ish can make a, we can get
House call.
more, we can get more prepared and plan for it and actually get our
Yeah.
questions right and maybe buy a spirit box too. So, but one of the, I guess somebody in the class, like I think the teacher was crapping on the spirit box. I don't know why.
Mhm.
Why?
I asked the same thing. I was like, well, why? Like, isn't that the way to communicate? And
Right.
they're just like, I don't know. So I was like,
That's such a weird thing to do.
It's like almost like a digital Ouija board.
Right.
In a way.
I got a Ouija board too, but
yeah, well, he has one of those.
I got a
too.
lot of weird stuff though.
And
I
he
have a
wonders
two-
why things happen in this house.
I have a 2,000-year-old Egyptian artifact too. It's like a mummy figure
whoa.
that I just picked up in
yeah, he
Colorado.
just brought that in. I
From
was like, dude,
archaeologists.
like right when I grabbed it, I was like, all right, it feels weird holding this. I don't know, man.
I got 2,000-year-old Roman glass. It's like a little glass bottle from Rome. I
That
got a bunch
mummy
of
though,
weird stuff.
dude. That it's like a I don't know what it's made out of. Some kind of stone, isn't it?
Oh, the mummy?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a sandstone, I think.
Yeah, it's like sandstone, but it looks like a pharaoh.
You want to see it?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll show
Like
it
a
to you.
little
Check it out.
like a little pharaoh. And he's like, yeah, check this out. I'm looking at I was kind of looking at it really closely. And I don't know what the hell those things are called, but they look like those candy cane things that they hold.
Oh,
And he has them like
yeah.
he has them like crossed like this across his chest. But yeah, it's just crazy looking. It's like you can tell this thing is really old. It looks like it was like rubbed with some kind of oil too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's like a little mummy dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's when you see it like in person, it's got color to it. There's like some green on there. You can see the writing. There's like a name on there or something.
There's like hieroglyphics on it, and
Yeah, when we first got it, you could smell it. It smelled like oil, huh?
yeah, it smells like some kind of oil.
It's really weird.
But you can see like the detail, and it's whatever the hell that's called on its head. You gotta get off my cord here.
It's my favorite thing so far.
I was like, dude, you're gonna make this place so much worse bringing all this stuff in here. He even had he's like, oh man, we gotta draw a sign or a symbol
Oh, that was a weird
for
one.
fallen hour, and I was like, all right, that's cool. I was thinking of something, I was like, well, I want to do something with an owl, like a horned owl. So I was trying to like find a way to do something with that. So I was thinking of working on that, and then he draws this symbol, and I was like, this symbol it didn't sit right with me, man. I was
That
like,
was the point of it. It was like
weird.
I was trying to make something that kind of set people uneasy a little bit.
I was like, it almost feels witchcrafty, that's probably not a word, but it felt like witchcraft in the way I was looking at it, and I was like, yeah, all right. So
I heard that.
did you hear that?
What was that?
I don't know. That was
That was a whisper, wasn't it?
it sounded like a whisper after I said I heard that, but it was like something was walking like
That sounded like on your side. Did you hear it on his
I
side?
heard a whisper. I heard a voice before you said, did you? Or I heard that too.
I heard it on your side.
I just got the chills.
Weird. I should get that spirit box.
Oh, whoa, hold up, dude. I'm literally feeling it all over.
Well, I was
Like,
gonna say, is there anybody in your house with you?
Yeah, but
Dude.
they're all sleeping.
my
so
legs are
we'll-
tingling.
So when we were talking earlier, like your camera was shaking, like as if somebody was like stomping their feet.
Oh,
I was gonna
funny.
say something, but I didn't. But I was like watching it, and I was looking at your legs to see if you guys are tapping the ground or not.
No.
And you guys weren't, but it was as if somebody was walking through the hallway or something, and it was like, I mean, you got to make some steps to make your
Yeah.
camera move, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
And it
give
looked
me
like
some
it was
chills.
it looked like it was jiggling, like dude, like.
What
But I wasn't
the
hearing
hell?
anything, so I was like,
No,
it's probably
we're
their
the
legs.
we're the only ones in this room or
Yeah,
in
this
the
part
kitchen.
of the house.
The whole half of the house, we're the only ones in here. And
That's weird.
dude, like
I have
after
to watch
that,
that back.
whoa, I'm getting the chills again, dude.
That's so
It's probably
weird.
on our side.
It probably is.
I'm like, honest, honestly feeling something here, dude. That's all
We
right.
gotta watch that
Anyway.
back, man. I gotta hear that.
Yeah, it's like
Whoa.
about 20 minutes ago. I haven't seen it though.
And it was just that voice just happened after it popped out, that mummy.
Oh yeah.
Oh, this is why. Okay, this is gonna get okay. Now it's gonna even creep me out even more. He drew the symbol, and I was like, man, this feels like some kind of witchcraft, you know. I was like, that's what it looks like. It reminds me of, you know, some kind of old symbol. And he was like, oh, let's, you know, we had that. He had that on everything for a while. He had it on the cover art on some
I
things.
sold paintings with
He
it.
had it on paintings. He had the original sketch he did on a little piece of paper hanging up, and he was like, "Oh, you know, do some research on this," and it was on basically voodoo and hoodoo, and the symbol he drew was an actual voodoo symbol, and
That
he
I
thought
had no idea about.
he's never seen this thing before, and it was actually one of their laws, and it was one of their signs, and it's a woman. Now I told him, I was like, you better take that symbol down out of your house. And he was like, why? And I said, I sent the picture to his wife, and I sent the picture to him. And
No, I took it down before that because I said it didn't feel right.
oh yeah, that's right. But you still had it on your paintings.
Yeah.
And I told him, you should probably take that down, because ever since he put it up, we were hearing a woman cry upstairs when there's nobody upstairs.
Whoa.
You can hear her loud too.
Right.
You can hear footsteps. You can hear running. It sounds like kids running sometimes. And my brother lived alone, and he would be at work, and he's the only one with a key to his place, and you'd hear somebody crying upstairs. And so it got to the point where we'd go upstairs and knock on a door to see if there's anybody up there. And he'd write me, no man, I'm at work, you know. I'm like, well, there's something in your house, you know. He'd come home, and his living room would be thrashed, his garbage can will be knocked over, his chairs will be drug all over the place, and you know, just garbage everywhere. And he was like, what the hell's going on, you know. He thought somebody thrashed his place, but there was nobody there. It was just, he's the only one that lived up there, and this kind of stuff was happening. And I told him, dude, take that symbol down, man. And after he took that down, I don't think we've ever heard that woman cry, have we?
I don't think so.
It stopped. And so,
but still weird stuff happens.
Yeah. So yeah, weird stuff still happens, but I haven't heard that woman crying. But what creeps me out is when I was talking about that symbol, I was about to tell you that it was this woman. It was her symbol. That's when I heard a woman's whisper on the freaking headphones, and it creeped me the hell out. So I was like, oh, that's why I got the chills. But
I think it was associated with like wealth or whatever that symbol, that voodoo symbol was.
Her, yeah,
the actual symbol.
I think she was oh man, I can't remember his name, but it was supposed to be one of the other Loa's wife or something like that. She was crazy. Yeah.
Wow.
I keep hearing something.
Yeah.
On this side?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I heard it too. I'm just ignoring it.
You don't got a TV or something going on over there either?
No, I don't.
I keep hearing something on that side too.
I know. I thought I heard somebody go like grunt.
Nope. Well, I heard something like go, and then your camera keeps shaking, and then
what the hell?
Then
I don't know
then it sounded
how.
like footsteps, like that last when I was like, I keep hearing something like
There's
dead
nothing,
silent.
dude.
The only thing
It's
I
like
hear is the
dead
clock.
silent.
Should just keep one of these off.
Yeah, dude, it's dead silent over here. But like, no, I kept hearing kind of noises here and there, but I was trying to ignore it. But now it sounds like it wants to be heard, whatever the hell it is. But
That's so weird.
But
That's never
usually,
happened like this yet.
every time we get into something creepy or start talking about, you know, this kind of stuff, or especially when we started getting into demonology, you know, talking about that or talking about scripture or Bible, we'd start hearing things, or things would start kind of happening. And I was like, man, something in this place doesn't like that, you know?
Right.
And I always tell him that, and a lot of time we just ignore it, you know, ignore everything, just keep talking, and do the podcast. And sometimes you'll catch us, kind of looking around like,
Yeah, it always happens on a
so if you
podcast.
watch the videos, you'll kind of see us like, what the hell was that, But man, it's
So
just
what do you think a spirit is? Like, what do you think people are experiencing when they go ghost hunting?
I don't know. Like maybe energy, maybe.
Hmm.
But I remember I've told this story like once, but it was, I don't know, man. It was like when I was a kid. I remember it was that same IHS building I was talking about earlier, but I was probably like 9 or 8. But my dad would take me every other weekend or so, and then we'd go to Tulsa, and then he'd always take like the back roads. It's just what he liked to do.
Yeah.
And so went through the back roads, and it would lead into the tribe. And I remember like I think I woke up, or I don't know. And so we were driving, and we're coming up on the IHS building, and then next to it is like the old dentist building. But anyways, I can't remember if I just woke up or if I was just looking around or if I was fully awake. I can't remember, but I do remember this like blue, like it looked like a statue, like like when you see a statue, like the torso, and then there's
Yeah.
the head,
Like
and
a bust.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
bust.
and it was coming out of that dentist building, like it was just floating out, like it flew, like it floated through the fucking wall,
Whoa.
and it was
Oh,
like a
God.
bluish, like light blue, like not neon, but it was just like a, I don't know if it was because of the moon shining on it, but it looked like a blue color. Like
Mm.
I don't know, I can't explain it, but
It had like a blue hue to it.
yeah, yeah. And then it was just floating, like just floating. And I looked at it and I was like, Dad, you see that? Do you see that? And he was like, yeah. And he just kept driving. And I was like looking at it, right? And it just kind of floated, and we were coming up on it. Like I thought we were gonna like cross into it or something. Like it was,
Yeah.
because we were going like, I don't know, 30 miles an hour maybe, and it was probably going the same rate. And then it just kind of disappeared in like mist or some shit.
Yeah.
And it just like faded away. And I was like, what was that? Like I was excited, because you're a kid, so you don't really understand, I guess, like
Yeah.
what you're seeing. And he's older, so he knew what it was, I guess, and
Right.
probably never seen anything like that. And I think it was maybe like a couple years later or something. I was older, but I still remembered it. And I was like, oh, we were just talking. And I was like, Dad, you remember that time we seen that ghost? And then I kept like asking him. He goes, no.
So
So
freaking hate that.
so it was like and I was talking about this with Angela and them. I was like, was I making that up, or did I see it, or did he not see it? Because kids can see stuff, and
Right.
maybe he just said yeah to shut me up or something, and I only seen it. So I don't really fully know, and that was like the only like ghost thing I've seen like as a kid,
Right.
and and I'm a kid, and that makes sense too. Like I was
Yeah.
just innocent, and you don't know like what you're looking at, and you could, I guess, connect to that
Yeah.
type of stuff. So that's so I don't know what it is, man. Like after seeing that, and people say it's like an energy, but it can take form. And somebody just said they seen a ghost, and it was just like me and you, like right here,
Yeah.
and
Wow.
no see through or nothing, and it was just like a person. So I don't know if there's like different types or what. And then when I was talking to the historical natives, they made it sound like it was like, okay, they're on this side, and they're like almost like clocking in, so like
Right.
like they're in their world, and it's like they're, I don't know, it's just two different
Worlds colliding.
dimensions. Yeah,
Right.
dimensions or
Yeah.
some shit. So I don't know, like I guess we'll find out, sooner or later. So
Right. We always ask that question to guests, and it's kind of funny to hear everyone's responses.
I think he forgot that we're the guests.
I know. I was like, but I was
I was
curious
like,
to hear.
oh, dude, like, I thought you were gonna ask that. I was gonna ask you if you wanted to be on, on our podcast. So I was like, man, I wanted to wait to ask that
You
question.
can just rehash that.
Yeah, you could ask it again.
But it's always something we've been asking, and we've been on this topic for these past, I don't know, a couple months.
Yeah.
I mean, we have our beliefs because we were raised Christian, and we believe in Christian beliefs and things like that.
Mhm.
But when we get to the podcast, we can't just come out and bring that's the only thing on the table, because we have all these people and all these listeners, and we always made a point that when we do a podcast, we come in either as a skeptic or we come in as researching different cultures around the world to try to explain some sort of happening, whether that's like a UFO sighting or explaining deities like the Papa Legba or the other Luas in voodoo culture, and then finding other deities, I guess, or creatures or people, historical creature or people around the world, and try to tie those together and see like other similarities in these cultures. And then we ask these questions like, what do you believe a spirit is? Do you believe in demons? Do you believe in angels? Have you seen anything like this? And it's always a funny response, because we talk to people that are atheists and people who do believe in God or do believe in the devil, or people who just totally don't believe in anything. I haven't seen spirits, but when you say, do you believe in demons? Do you think they're running around? They always have a funny response, because they always, no matter what, they always have some sort of way to hash that out in their head of explaining that.
Yeah. Yeah, like we have like a wide range of listeners. Like we actually had people like, tell us, like that they listen to us, people that are, just your everyday person, people that are Christian, people that are Catholic, witches and Wiccans and Luciferians and apostles and prophets and evangelists and stuff kind of come out like, oh yeah, I listen
People
to
who
that.
claim to be vampires and
People
things
claim
like
to be vampires and all kinds of like crazy people. I'm like, man, we got a wide range of like people that actually kind of listen. And so I'm like, well, what do you believe? Like, what do you believe in this or believe in that? Because like when we kind of talk to people or interview them or just try to get what their insight or anything, we try not to be like real preachy, like try to tell them this or tell them that. Like I just want to hear what they believe, why they believe that, and I'm not gonna like start preaching at them or anything like that. I'm just like, okay, this, and I just tell them what I believe, like kind of like just having a conversation, and so like I'll tell them what I believe and stuff like that. And just, but it's interesting to hear like all these different theories and thoughts and beliefs and stuff. So like, yeah, when we started doing this, man, we started kind of getting to know a lot of people that believe all kinds of different stuff.
Because I think when everybody's response though lends itself to the conversation of the paranormal world or community or whatever, everyone's beliefs, because sometimes like everyone has like probably that person that did those paranormal classes, they probably have like a certain belief system, and when you have some people answering these questions, it kind of creates a new way to talk about it. And then you have these other theories that are kind of meshing together, and some theories like we've heard people talk about, like the one you're talking about, those guys saying that there's two dimensions meshing together, or maybe we're experiencing two worlds at one time. You have those theories that do make sense in certain stories, and then you have these other ones that are actual people experiencing energy. We talked to Eric Freeman Sims, who he believes that they're energy as well, right? Was that one of his things?
That's what he believed. I can't remember.
And then he also believes that people, I guess, vibrate on a different frequency. And when you experience a ghost or a spirit, then if they're vibrating on the same frequency, then you might see them a little more clearer.
Yeah, or they might see something a little differently. So if two people are having the same experience, looking at the same, let's say, spirit, one person might see it a little differently than the other because they're vibrating on a different frequency, or and so that's kind of how he explained it. So I was like, well, that's kind of really cool thought, because I remember something happening, and there was multiple people there that witnessed this thing, and 2 or 3 people saw the same thing, and the other 2 people saw something a little different, so it's like, how do you remember it, or either how you see it? It's like it kind of made sense what he said,
Right. Because my dad we had him on the podcast recently, and he has stories that kind of vary between the ghosts he was seeing.
You'll probably like his
And
episodes.
he's got all these ghost stories and stuff, and they all kind of appear differently. And then he has one where he actually seen a guy just like we are, like you were explaining earlier. And he
Looked alive.
this guy passed away, and he walks into, I think he was in the res, and he walks
He
into a
was here.
store. Oh, was he
was
here?
in Hardin.
And he walks into the store, and this dude passes by him, just like plain as day, like you can touch him. And he looks at my dad, and my dad looks at him and looks at his friend. He's like, "Isn't that guy dead? Right? Do we need to just bury that guy?" And
Yeah, he came walking into the store, and he said when he opened the door, this is one of those doors that swings shut by himself really quickly, just slam shut. And he said the door opened and it stayed open. He said it was closing really slowly. And this guy walked by him, and he said he looked like he was brushing something off his shirt. And he glanced up and looked at my dad, and he said he was looking at him the whole time when he walked out of the door. And he said that door, it was like that door stayed open for him. It didn't close until he was already outside. And there was another person in the store, and the cashier is a friend of my dad's. And one of them pointed at that guy and was asking,
Right.
didn't that guy fucking die?
right.
Isn't he dead? And that's what my dad was thinking. He's like, this guy's dead. What the hell is he doing in the store?
Right.
And he never thought about asking about the camera footage or anything, but until he was talking to us. And but yeah, he's like, there's stories like that where you see somebody that's plain as day, looks like they're alive, looks like you could touch them. And then there's other times you see them and they're like transparent, or either just even a torso, like you were saying. And it's just weird.
But I mean, that theory, I guess, wouldn't even matter if you brought in cameras to the equation, though.
Yeah.
Because like if you see a spirit and you're vibrating on that frequency,
yeah,
and that spirit's supposedly vibrating on the same frequency, and then the camera catches it, is the camera vibrating on the same frequency as those? Right?
Maybe.
So that I guess a camera could debunk that.
That's a good
that
question.
theory.
That's a good theory.
We're not here. I'm trying to work out a thought with you guys.
We always end up doing that, but yeah, that makes sense. So
Yeah.
yeah, like you're gonna see it how the camera catches it, not how your frequency's vibrating, right?
Right.
So okay, I got you.
I got into like our podcast mode for a second.
Yeah, they were talking about I guess Polaroids work the best.
Right.
Yeah,
Polaroid cameras, they work the best, and because I guess these cameras are too digital. I guess they're too strong
Right.
to catch whatever. And I guess they're saying Polaroids work, but I was trying to look for a Polaroid, and they're like $60.
Got to go to the freaking. Got to go to the thrift shop.
I know.
Go to the
Yeah.
pawn shop. You probably
Get
can find it on
lucky.
Amazon.
You can get a Polaroid camera and you can order this thing on Amazon. It's like $50, I think, and you can convert your Polaroid camera into a digital camera, and it's like it goes like Bluetooth to your phone when you snap at them.
Mm, okay.
So you don't gotta keep throwing that away or buying a new one, or yeah,
Oh, that's kind of cool.
kind of new agey.
But yeah, like I mean, I've seen both, like I've seen something that looked like it was plain as day, looked like this thing was alive. And I've also seen things that were literally dissipating as I looked at it,
Mhm.
So like, I mean, I've seen both, and it's, man, no matter what it is, it creeps you out.
Yeah.
Like I try not, like usually I don't really get scared easy, like when I see something like that or when something happens, it's like kind of used to that. And then the way we were brought up, a very Christian household, so like something like that is going on, we're always taught to don't back down, pray, and stuff like that, hold your ground. And and that's how it was when something would happen in our house, and my mom would catch it,
Mhm.
like this guy told a story, the closet doors were just slamming back and forth, like something was trying to open the closet door. And like, my mom would literally be yelling at this thing, telling it to get out of the house, and praying and speaking in tongues and the whole 9 yards, and then it would just quit, it would stop. And so like watching that, growing up my whole life, that's kind of how I try to handle things. And it's funny, I didn't tell him this yet, but I actually got a story if you want to hear it.
Mhm.
I was just a few days ago, I thought I heard something in my house, and I was like, okay, I thought I heard something, and I was ignoring it, just figured, maybe I'll ignore it. If there is something in my house and I acknowledge it, it's gonna make its presence more known. That's usually kind of how it always ends up happening. So I ignored it. And what's funny is what I noticed every time it had to do something that would be classified as demonic, um, you can actually kind of smell it. Some people can actually smell it. It'll have a certain scent. And I smelled some that smelled like sulfur, and some that smelled like old rotting alcohol. And this one actually smelled like an old ashtray. It smelled like old cigarettes. I was walking to my door or by my door in my living room, and that smell just hit me. It just felt like it went right by me, and it smelled like an old ashtray. And nobody smokes in my house. It's just me and my wife and my two girls, and we don't smoke cigarettes or anything like that. And in order for that smell to get into my house, it would have to go through an enclosed patio, which is two doors. All the windows are locked and everything. And there was, nothing there. I had no windows open. There was nobody outside. I went and looked outside. And so I was like, all right, well, I kind of smelled something, and I kind of sensed something, and I heard something. So it's like, there's probably something in my house. And I went into the kitchen and I started doing the dishes, and I was alone at this time. My wife actually ran out to her parents' place, and I was doing the dishes. And then I thought I heard something. I glanced down, and my dog even looked. She kind of glanced up and looked at the basement door. And I kind of, I kind of leaned over and looked at the door, and I listened for a minute, and I didn't hear anything. So I just started continue to do the dishes, and then I started hearing footsteps coming from the basement.
Oh, weird.
And I heard, step, 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 and it got quiet. And I turned to the door, and I sat there waiting, and it sounded like it stood on the other side of the door. I just heard the creaking, and I told it to get out, get out of my house. And when I say get out of my house, it was like me acknowledging this thing. It hit the door, like it sounded like pounded on the door, just boom. And I was like, all right, yeah, there's something here.
Mhm.
And so I ignored it. I was like, all right, whatever. I just kept doing the dishes. And this basement door is maybe 2.5 feet away from where I'm standing. So I'm doing the dishes, and I'm like, I could touch the door from where I'm standing.
Was the door open?
No, the door was closed and locked, and it even has a little latch. So I sat there, and I didn't hear any more creaking or anything after it hit the door. So it's like, all right, well, I'll wait till my wife gets home and she can help me. She's never did this before. She actually gets kind of scared easy. She doesn't like dealing with this kind of stuff or anything like that. We actually had to be involved with like what people call exorcisms. And so we, she actually finally witnessed that, and it scared the hell out of her. So she gets scared easy. So I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna have her help me. She's gonna kind of learn how I do this kind of stuff. So I waited. I was washing the dishes and everything, and it finally got quiet in the house. Nothing was going on. And then she walked in, and I just asked her. My girl went to her bedroom, and I tried to be quiet about it. I said, where's your Bible? And the second I said that, she just got that look in her face, like, what the fuck happened? She looked at me, she said, what the hell happened? And I was like, not just where's your Bible? You know where it's at, right? And she could, why? She like every time I ask a question, like if I need this or need that, she knows. She's like, you're a bad liar, just I was like, just bring your Bible out. And she was like, she's like, tell me what happened first. And so I told her, was like, well, this happened. And she's like, oh my God, okay. And my daughter came walking out of the bedroom door. She's like, I want to go outside. I was like, no, stay inside. And she's like, there's something in the basement. I heard you. I'm going outside. She's like, I'm not staying in here. And I kind of started laughing. She was, and the way she talks, man, she talks funny. She's like, heck that, man, I'm going outside. And I was like, all right, well, I'm getting rid of this thing, and I'm gonna get this thing out of my house. And I'll tell you right now, it's probably gonna go outside where you're gonna be. So do you want to be outside or do you want to be inside? I'll stay inside. So she's like, all right. She kind of stood there, and so I told my wife, all right, well, grab your Bible. And my grandma, before she passed away, she gave me a bottle of holy oil. And so I told her to grab that out and grab her Bible and give me a flashlight. And so she was like, all right. And I told her, what page to go to in the Bible. I said, start here. I said, read out loud, keep reading, and don't stop, And she was like, well, why do I have to help you? I don't want to go downstairs. I want to go to the basement. And so I grabbed the bottle of holy oil and I grabbed my flashlight, and I was like, my hands are full, so you're going to have to help me. And she was kind of standing for a minute. Like, you could tell she's trying to, like, oh man, kind of pump herself up. All right, let's go. So like, yeah, all right. And I told her, start reading. And, I started going over every doorway and everything, praying over the place. And she started reading it, and I went downstairs, just to make sure, and I was like, I'm going to mark everything, every entrance, every doorway, every window. So this thing, can't find a place to hide, So I went through, even went to that little door that I never opened. That I was like creeped out to open, like I walked over there, just pulled it open and kind of took a look, closed it, and prayed over it and everything. And like right when I was coming out of the basement, man, the whole feeling of the house just changed. I was like, when I started, the hairs on my arms were kind of stood up when I went to the basement. Mm-hmm. And it just felt like something left, and it was just, man, it felt calm.
You should have waited until I got all this ghost hunting crap.
Wanted me the way I could have leave that thing in my house. So I prayed over my whole place, and after that, it was like calm, and man, I haven't felt anything ever since then. But man, I was like, really? It had to be in my basement, like this creepy place in my house that I never go down.
Well, that's
I had to walk up the steps and bang on the door. I was like,
it always hides in the least inhabited room, or
that would be the basement, man. But man, that was just, it was creepy. Just, I could hear it like on the other side of the wall, just and then bam, bang on the door. And I was just like, here we go, But yeah, that just happened a couple days ago, and I didn't even tell this guy that yet.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, this is the first time this guy's hearing about that.
I'm so mad. Just kidding.
You got enough stuff going on here, man.
I know. I usually have my I have another spirit box, and I usually have that thing going when I'm editing the podcast. Mm-hmm. And creepy Marcus was anyway. Yeah, my wife was sleeping, and I had it going, and it was just like sitting there for at least an hour or so, just going and nothing, just quiet. And I'm sitting there editing, and then this guy's coming over to the house, and we're gonna do something, and I hear this disgusting, blood-curdling like scream on that thing, and it gave me the chills, and I like jumped up and I grabbed that thing. I shut it off. I was like, I couldn't freaking have that thing on no more. And then this guy got here, and I said, man, we gotta try to see if we hear anything else. And we turned it on, but nothing after that. It's like, man, I should just have a camera to that thing and have it going all the time.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's creepy.
Do TikTok live on that EVP.
Yeah,
I know.
We have speaking of exorcisms, we have the opportunity. There's a guy that we know that we were involved with, and he's a minister, and well, he's a prophet, and he was the one we were part of during this him casting out a demon. And we've experienced this all our lives, being in the rooms with people casting out demons, and my whole families are ministers, and everyone from my uncles to my aunties and things of that nature, and all the way to my grandpa. They're gone now, but we've grown up in that environment, and being a part of that one. This was like 4 or 5 years ago.
Well, I believe about 4
years ago, and we were in the room with
those 3
him casting out a demon, and crazy thing. And we actually recorded this audio on it, and we're in talks to releasing it, but we'll see. But this guy, he wants us to be a part of his when he's casting out demons. So we're starting this paranormal investigating, and we're going to start investigating places, but we're also going to add this element to where we're going to do what other people aren't doing yet, and go into the room and sit and investigate while this is happening, and see if we can catch anything, or see if anything's happening in the room, and just record it and put it out and see what happens, to see how people will receive it, I guess. Because people, I mean, the Catholic Church has done this for years, since like the 50s, 60s, recording their exorcisms with the Vatican, but the Vatican is never going to put them out. There's some leaked videos out there, but I don't think anybody has done it in that
sense.
Yeah, that sense of like recording it, putting it out, and trying to expose that to people, and showing that things like this do happen, and they're as real gets when you're in the room. Like nothing else matters in the world. Like anything that happened that day does not matter once you're in that room and you experience that.
Yeah, it's
until it's
gets
over.
Intense, man.
Yeah.
There was even a time where I'm not gonna say his name. If he hears this, I'm gonna get a message from him. But he literally crawled up the wall backwards up the wall.
This when the cops were called,
and yeah, the police. There's a police report and everything on it, and that this happened. And when the cops actually got in there, one of these guys quit being a police officer, and he actually ministers now after witnessing what happened. And he came in and he was hanging upside down in the doorway like a bat when the police got in there, and he was screaming for his mom. And I talked to him after it happened, and he said that he couldn't see. He said he was trying to open his eyes, and his eyes were open, but he couldn't see. It's like somebody was shielding his eyes. And he said that he could barely see anything, and he was just screaming for his mom. And when the police got in there, he was growling, he was yelling, but every now and then it's like he would come through and he would scream for his mom, and then this thing would take over again. He'd start growling and yelling again. And they had to basically cast that out. But it happened again, and I was there for the second time that it happened with him. But yeah, it's intense, man. It gets really intense. And they're asking us to, kind of be in there with them and record everything and document everything. And we talked about it for the past 3 years about doing this. And we actually had a friend come on the podcast, and she actually got to do that too.
Right. Yeah.
She was actually invited into an exorcism, and they let her set up her equipment and everything to see if anything happens. And she's talking about putting that out as like a documentary.
Right. Yeah.
But her name is Miranda Young, and they call her the Ghost Biker. And she's she'll be on our show this weekend. The episode's gonna be out. But she was talking about that too. She actually got the chance to do that too. So it's kind of cool, actually hearing that somebody actually got to try it. So,
right.
Yeah. I was like, man, I'm hearing stuff.
I saw you look over there. I was like,
we're always doing this crap, man. Looking.
Do you have a light that keeps getting brighter by itself?
It shouldn't be.
No. Never mind.
Oh, I know what it is. It's the TV. It's probably changing pictures.
All right, yeah, because it keeps getting brighter, like behind you on that dinosaur. And I was like, "What the heck is that?" And I kind of figured it was a TV, but I was like, Better just ask. Might as well just get it all out there.
Oh, man. It gets creepy sometimes, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't see how you're sitting in a dark room right now.
Well.
I'd be overthinking everything right now.
I'm just chilling. Trying not to think about it. Thinking about my noodles. No, just kidding.
I was just about to ask about your noodles.
Oh, they're cold. Oh man.
God, man.
Damn.
Shoot.
We should do a part 2 if you guys are down.
Yeah,
Most
that'd
definitely.
be cool.
Yeah. We'll have to set it up again. I think we went over our time, but oh well. But I usually try to go for 2 hours. 2 hours is the max for some reason. So
Dang, how long have we been going?
almost 2 hours. So
Oh, wow.
Cool.
yeah.
Uh,
But I'm gonna try to get this out probably 7 Friday.
Awesome.
all right.
Cool.
7 at night.
Will the video be up to at 7, you think, or?
Yeah, it should be, unless I don't know. Like sometimes when I upload to YouTube, it messes up and I have to wait and
Right.
like I don't know. It's just stupid stuff on YouTube involving the video. So, but I'm gonna try to get up on at 7 too. So hopefully,
Cool.
Like one of the biggest topics we always get asked about is like Native American lore and stories like that, like growing up on a reservation.
I was gonna save that for.
Yeah, I was gonna say we can
Yeah,
probably talk a lot about that in the next one. So because I
was
have
gonna-
some
yeah.
stories I could tell you.
I was gonna bring that up, but I was like, dang, we've already been talking this long. Getting
There's
creeped out.
There's an episode on our podcast. I think it's called A Night on Sacred Grounds. I actually told a story on there. If you want to check it out, you'll probably
Next
like
time I'll bring out all the ghost hunting equipment. We'll just set it out while we're doing the podcast.
Yeah, see if it goes off.
For
Yeah,
real.
we'll do that. I'll have like a little table here. We'll have it there.
Yeah, dude, man, I started getting the chills. I felt like chills on this side. I was like, it felt like something was
Yeah, it
moving
got
around. I was
weird
like,
here,
what
man.
the
It
hell?
got intense. It
dude.
got intense in that middle part, and I was like, "You guys were saying you heard something over here," and I was like, "I'm just gonna keep my eyes forward."
Yeah, it got ugly there for a minute.
That
man.
green screen effect that would shield it, we couldn't be able to help you out.
I know, right? Well, I was waiting on something to just pop up like right there.
A little blip.
Yep, a little right above my head, right there.
Little blip behind you.
I was waiting on it, but yeah, I was just like, I'm just gonna chill.
Oh man.
But yeah, it got intense, man. Your camera stopped shaking too.
That's so
Dude,
weird. It's
that
like,
is
there's
weird.
no way that, because that's on a solid ground over there,
Yeah,
and that we have like this whole desk sitting there with the monitor and
and it's
camera
even
up
like
top.
on a rug, so it'll kind of help absorb.
Yeah,
So
Weird.
dude, that is freaking crazy, man.
yeah, weird.
It was like it was when we started noticing it, then it started like really like somebody was like stomping around.
Shank it.
That's so weird.
Yeah, it was just I could see it moving. I don't know if you guys could, but the picture was like it was
No.
like it was
'Cause our,
fucking crazy.
we can see us, but it's really small up top, so I couldn't
Yeah,
see it.
and
if
we're
it was
really far
shaking or
away from our
not.
monitor, so
Mhm.
Yeah, so we're a ways away from the monitor too. So, and that was literally right when I thought I heard a lady's voice, and I was like, "Oh my god, man!" That
I heard that too. So
that was weird. It was a good thing that you responded that way too, because we were like this. He's
Yeah,
like, I
I
heard
was
it
like,
too.
"Oh my god, dude, I heard something." Well, I'm glad we all heard it. So.
yeah.
We actually had we were talking to a friend when we were on his podcast, and I think I don't know if it was during the podcast or if it was afterwards, but he interviewed another friend of mine. His name's DCR Rourke. We're gonna actually bring him on next week.
Mhm.
And he's a paranormal investigator and a historian, and he does ghost tours and stuff. He's a pretty cool dude. But he was talking to him, and the guy that was interviewing him his name is Al Cooley. And on his headphones, he heard something whispering his name coming from the other guy's microphone when he talks, he kind of sits back and talks.
Mhm.
And I think it was when Al Cooley was talking, and he started hearing something whispering his name.
That's so weird.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, and we were gonna bring him on, and he was like, man, he's like, I can't get my equipment to work for some reason. He's like, I don't know what the hell's going on. And he said it wasn't working all day, and he just did a ghost tour the night before, and he said he felt like there was something in his house, but he wasn't sure. And he turned his SLS camera on, and when he turned it on by his equipment in his living room, he caught two figures standing in there. And you know what an SLS camera is, don't you? It like kind of makes a stick figure out of anomalies.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he caught two of them in his living room by his by his equipment.
They were supposed to do the
Yeah,
podcast.
they were supposed to do the podcast, and he was like, yeah, he's like, might have to reschedule. I'm gonna call someone, try to get rid of this thing, So we had to reschedule, and he was like, oh, it's a good news, my stuff's working again. So but he sent me that picture, and I was like, oh, that's pretty crazy. But I was like, yeah, so like, it happens, like I've listened to some podcasts, and I heard, them catching audios while they're talking and stuff. Like there was this one, they caught an old woman talking on their headphones, and
Nah, it's
oh,
gross.
man,
I hate
disgusting.
old people ghosts. That's like one of the top creepers of mine that creep me out. Old people and little kids. Yeah. Creep me out.
Oh my god.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Leaving this episode creepy.
Let's calm down now. So hopefully it's it was intense, man. I was just thinking back all these stories, and damn, it got intense. Like we were just like sitting here like, oh my god, did you hear that? So everybody, you're gonna hear all this, and you'll see their camera shaking when I release this. And
I gotta watch that when it comes
yeah,
Check it out.
I tried to record some of it, but you can't really see it on my phone because I was sitting here like trying to record it, and
that's
so
weird, man.
let me see.
Like we never had that. I don't think we've ever had that.
Yeah, next time we'll have
before.
like a
That's
little
new one.
thing set up here. We'll have a like little table of our equipment on there.
Set some equipment up around us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Weird. Can't see it on here. I seen it. In my own eyes, I fucking seen it.
At least you got it recorded.
We'll see. Dang. Playing tricks on me.
Awesome, man.
But yeah, let's set up part 2, and then we'll get into native folklore and
awesome
what y'all got up there and what I got down here. So yeah, and then we'll talk more scary stuff. Man. Yeah,
cool, man. Sounds cool.
But this was awesome. Thank you so much for coming on and just having a good time and getting scared. And fuck, man, like I can't wait to do it again. We'll set it up, and shout out your where to follow you and catch everything.
Well, you can find us on Facebook and YouTube at Fallen Hour. We have an Instagram at Fallen Hour that we got to get kicking up again. But yeah, Apple Podcast, Spotify, Breaker, wherever you are, it's at Fallen Hour Radio.
Yeah, Fallen Hour Radio on the podcast platforms.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah, just look for his ugly mug and mine, and that's us.
All right.
Facebook and YouTube, we do like the video element, so you can watch us and stuff like that, and put a face to the voice, I guess.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I think I followed your YouTube. If not, I'll follow it.
We got to work on YouTube. We suck on YouTube right now.
Yeah, like, dude, like you're a social media marketer, and he forgets to market himself. It's like, so most of our views and stuff are on Facebook, and they're like, no. And I'm the one that does that. So
yeah.
Oh man, hell yeah! So yeah, thank you so much. And
videos, check them out.
Everybody, go check out everything they got going on. Go give them a follow, like their page. Subscribe to their podcasts, available everywhere. Fallen Hour Radio, it's a great podcast. I'm getting through you guys' first year, I believe. So 2019, looking forward to 2020.
I feel so bad for you.
I know. You gotta go through that.
But it's all good. I still enjoy it. And so yeah, if you're not following Okie Podcast, please do that. It's available everywhere. Subscribe, rate, review. Follow the Okie Podcast page on Instagram, one word. Personal's RussellMus49. Facebook's Russell Sun Eagle. Okie Podcast is on Facebook as well. And we're going to do a part 2, so be ready for that. And yeah, till next time, everybody. Peace.
All right. Awesome.